Okay.
Let's
Good.
start with, yes, amazing. Let's start with your background
Okay.
on how you got into all of this and what you did before.
Okay. Let me bring it from the start.
Hmm.
Okay. I got my first management job at age 26. I was branch manager of Johnson County Bank. I did that for 5 years
Hmm.
and I did a really good job. That's what I thought I wanted to do for a living. But then I found out after about 3 years that banking doesn't pay. So I went back to college, um, got a degree from DeVry, a bachelor's degree in computer information systems, which is a combination of computer science and management information systems. It's a 4 year degree. I got in three. I got out, and being a go getter and a really hard worker, I worked my way as a big name in the community in 6 months right out of college. And headhunter pulled me out of this job that I had for 6 months, started another job, paying me a lot more money. I was with that company for 1 year in the IT industry as a computer programmer and an IT instructor. My name started getting bigger in Kansas City Metro. I got
Hmm.
another headhunter came and pulled me out, asked me to be an IT director
Hmm.
for a big company in Kansas City. So that was my second big management job. And so I stayed with that company for 4 years, and that's where I learned business, how to manage people. I had a lot of employees, and I liked it, and I excelled, and I just kept getting promotion after promotion, raises after raises. And then another headhunter came and literally pulled me out of there for a better job yet, more money. And long story short, that kept happening, repeated itself for 12 years in the IT industry. 5 jobs altogether, 4 jobs altogether. Yeah, 4 jobs altogether. So
Got
anyway,
it.
what's that?
I mean, how does that, how is
So
it different? Your management, how does that translate to your treatment center?
okay, so how that transfers was this. So at that time, I was enjoying life, Johnson County Joe,
Hmm.
Kansas City. I was in music ministry. I was determined to do that the rest of my life. I was making good money. And I came home from a business trip from Costa Mesa, California to Kansas City. And my found out that my wife was unfaithful to me. So embarrassed to say, but I decided I was very hurt and decided that I should leave Kansas City just to get away from everything, the crisis. So I moved to California, Laguna Beach, California, and met somebody who owned a business and wanted to open a second business that does well, but also gives back. So, with my business experience, people management experience, work ethic, and being a go getter, professionalism, he and I opened up a sober living company, and I grew that from one home to 6 homes, the biggest sober living company in the state of California, 69 beds altogether. And then I said, let's go bigger. Let's open up a full blown inpatient residential treatment center. And I took that on, took that task on, did that all by myself, 18-bed residential treatment center in Laguna Beach as well. And um, I was part owner of both companies and director of both companies. At the same time, I worked a lot of hours. I did an amazing job running both companies. He was very pleased. We filled beds, stayed full for 7 years. And then um, my dad became terminally ill. He's from here in Kansas City. My dad became terminally ill. And rather than fly back and forth or miss being with him if he were on his deathbed, I decided to sell my stock, resign from Viva La Vida and Cause Pacifica, the two companies that I opened up there with my business partner, but I did all the work, and moved back to Kansas City, which I did. I then shortly after opened up my third inpatient residential treatment center here in Kansas City Metro. I was there for 2 years, and my business partner and I had a partner with that one as well, had a falling out. So, but by then also I had a lot of experience, and I felt that learning from the best of the best in California, San Diego to LA, and then my personal knowledge of owning two facilities, co-owning two facilities, equipped me with enough knowledge, experience to open up one here in Kansas City, which I did, and it immediately took off. Good reviews. In fact, people from California facilities still contact me. People from the third treatment center, the first one that I opened up when I came back to Kansas City, still contact me. Matter of fact, I got a text an hour and a half ago from one of the former patients at Sunflower, the third treatment center I opened up. I was the director, co-owner of the third one. I get a lot of people that contact me. I've helped so many people in this business that they're so grateful, turned lives around, saved lives, and they're extremely grateful. And I have no idea how many people still contact me, dozens, literally dozens of people from Kansas City alone. And I'd say 3 or 4 from California still, for help saving my life, turning my life around, helping me through my addiction, helping me through my alcoholism. It was my passion. When I moved to California and got in this business, I realized that's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And so worked so hard, did such a good job. My patients really liked me, and I really liked helping people. That's my forte, is helping people and growing businesses, starting businesses from scratch and growing them. So, and I really like this industry because it's a serious industry. It's a life or death industry. If people don't change, it's inevitable. They're either going to die from their addiction or end up in jail or prison. So I've had over 2,500 patients since I got in this business. Anyway, after opening up my third treatment center, I said my business partner and we had a falling out. I kept the same philosophy as I presented at day one. He veered and changed and was not in it for helping people. He was in it for money only. And so his goals and mine were not in a line anymore. They weren't lined up. And so he was wanting to do very unethical things that are just bad and unethical in this industry. And anybody who knows the right and wrong way will tell you that what he started doing and wanting to do is terrible. It's very unethical. So I couldn't continue on as his business partner anymore. So I resigned from that partnership and treatment center. Took a break for about 1 year, met my current business partner, and he wanted to do the same thing as my business partner in Laguna Beach, which was open up a new business that gave back. And so he knew of me, my experience, my reputation, my knowledge of this industry, and it made good common sense to him to pick me as a business partner. Made sense to me to pick him as my business partner because he had a heart of gold. He has a heart of gold, and he really wants to help people as well. So it was a match made in heaven, I think. So when my business partner now and I got together, our goals were the same then. Our goals are still the same now. And we've helped a lot of people since we've opened up this business. We've saved a lot of lives. We've turned a lot of lives around. We get a lot, most of our graduates we keep in contact, either them with us or us with them. And so we have the highest, national average is 10% success rate for inpatient treatment. Our success rate's high 70s, low 80s. And that's, I know that statistic by way of keeping in track with our graduates, or they keep in track with us. So we know who has stumbled just a bit. We know who has gone back out, but for the most part, that number, 78 to 83%, once they walked in the front door of Goldbridge, when they left and walked out the front door, they've not touched anything since. And that is an incredible, incredible statistic. Our competitors in Kansas City are about 2 to 6%.
Got it.
National average 10, we're just say 80%.
I imagine it feels great every day knowing
It
that
does. I'm telling you.
the 2,500 people you work with, I imagine it
Over
feels good.
2,000. You know,
Okay.
I'll tell you,
If we
Ryan,
can go ahead. Let's backtrack for a second though. I know you said you wanted to give back. I mean, what changed there? What made you want to give back? I know you're working management job in IT and banking, but you wanted to give back all of a sudden.
well, so I did leave a little part out. So my wife and my wife was unfaithful. It was my best friend at that time. So that's why it was really, really difficult to swallow, so to speak, and accept. So even though I hadn't drank beer or smoked a joint since I was in college at age 22, I was in my late 30s, and ministry and a great day job, and I owned several businesses during that 12-year period as well. I had to self-medicate for a little bit, for off and on for 2 years. So I was never an alcoholic, a hardcore alcoholic, never a junkie, anything like that. But I dabbled a little bit with some substances, drank a little bit, and I'm embarrassed to say that, but it's my story. It's why these places existed and this exists, is because of that betrayal, my bad decision to self-medicate to get the pain, to escape the pain, and just make the hurt go away. So I did that off and on for 2 years. And then, like I said, it wasn't bad by any means, nothing bad. Just it was enough that it did change my life, affect my life a little bit. So what I mean by giving back is I fixed it quickly. I never hit it hard. I fixed it pretty quickly, off and on for 2 years. Giving back means, I think that I got lucky that I was never pulled over during those 2 years. You know, maybe when I was drinking, had drank too much, going in and getting the substances that I used, one substance that I used. It's lucky that I wasn't in the wrong place at the wrong time, robbed, shot, pulled over with drugs in my car at the time. Those were the best neighborhoods to be in, where those drugs, as anybody could imagine. But I felt that God was watching over me, protecting me during that 2 year period off and on. And it could have easily gone south at any time. Going to the hood in the middle of the night sometimes to get more substance. Drinking a little bit too much at the bar, driving home. I could have gotten pulled over, or gotten in a car wreck and killed somebody or myself. So I think God had his hands and angels watching, taking care of me that whole time, to make sure that I lived and I was safe, because what he had in store for me, his plans, was to do this, to learn from that, learn that I'm starting to make bad decisions. I better fix it quickly. And since I've lived on this side of the fence, I'm familiar with how this side of the fence works. I got now in business in this career on this side of the fence. So I'm privy to how both sides work, how people think, how addicts think, how alcoholics think. And that's what I mean by give back. I was protected. I believe, I could have easily gotten shot going in the hood in the middle of the night. People know those dope dealers don't live in nice houses in a nice country club neighborhood. So, and like I said, drinking sometimes. Never pulled over, never got a DUI, never got in a wreck. So I think that I got lucky. Never had anything go wrong, but a lot of people do. I've thousands of patients. I've heard every story there is. And bad things happen. People die. People overdose. Get robbed, shot for $20. Drug driving, driving drunk, kill somebody. Things like that. So I never had anything like that happen. So I feel I was protected. And as soon as I got to California and started thinking about things, realized that I think God was looking over me the whole time. But like I said, Brian, he did have a plan for me. It was for me to experience that life so I could live that life the rest of my life. And he helped me learn this really fast, put me where I was supposed to go. And I knew all my peers from San Diego to Los Angeles, and I asked them a lot of questions, how this industry works, got real good at this really fast. And that's why I was able to open up a sober living home so quickly, expand it. And that's why I was able to open up my first treatment center so quickly, fill it, both successful businesses, brought that knowledge and experience here to Kansas City, opened up my third treatment business, an inpatient treatment business, now number 4 with Goldbridge.
Got it. And all these experience come back together. Do you see yourself doing this for the rest of your life? Is this something you want to keep pushing? Okay.
Yeah, I will absolutely be in this industry for the rest of my life. Whether it's
Okay.
this role that I'm in now, or I've actually started writing a book that is halfway finished, that I, between the one before this and this one, I got halfway through. At some point, I'd like to go back and finish that. I actually sent it out for publishers to read the manuscript. I have 6 publishers that were very interested in that type of a self-help book. They said they've never seen a book written like that spells it out that the way that it does, from somebody that's lived on both sides and who's helped people like I have. So it's one of a kind written. And so I have every intention of going back and finishing that book at some point. So whether it's staying in this role now, adding the book in addition to or instead of, or something else similar related to this industry, I'll be in this industry for the rest of my life.
Got it. And this industry, what would you say is the most rewarding thing that you come across every day working here?
It's going home at night, knowing you've done a good job, looking in the mirror before I go to bed, knowing that I did a good job and I did God's work.
Got it.
People.
And on the subject of helping, how did Loancater help you guys? How did Loancater us help Goldbridge?
Well, we are this close to receiving additional revenue, more revenue. And this allowed us to not have to borrow from some other place or just run very thin. I like I said, I like a cushion in there to where I don't have to worry, stress, things like that. Always paid our bills, never not paid our bills, our employees, our loans, things like that. We always pay our bills. It allows me to relax because this job can be very stressful at times. It can be extremely stressful. A crisis can come up at any time with an employee or particularly a patient. And I just don't need the additional added stress of, okay, running thin on finances. So you guys really were very helpful, and I'm very grateful that you were able to help us. And it allows me to relax and do my job better, knowing that that's one thing less that I don't have to worry about.
Okay. And with us, I think you did a fantastic choice going with us. But what would you say is the biggest difference in your experience with us or any other institutions you work with in the past?
Um, Two things. Customer service, which I've told you multiple times, of course, working with you. So big compliment to you, right? And secondly, you're able to expedite things very quickly. So I don't like in the past, 33, 35 years that I've owned or co-owned businesses. Um, I like the fact that you guys were able to get this done quickly and give us an answer quickly. Um, it's frustrating sometimes, years back, if I had to consider something like this. Wait a week, 2 weeks for multiple things. I know this business 15 years now. I know the type of revenue that it can bring in. If we were at this point, we're going to be at that point. So I knew we could cover these loans. It's just, I'm glad you believe me. I'm glad you believed us. So,
Absolutely.
we're 3 or 4 months out from, like I've told you a couple of times, Ryan. If it were November, you and I wouldn't be talking right now, to be quite honest. But since it's not, and we're where we are now financially, we did need the help. So we didn't have to seek it anywhere else from family or anything like that. That's a last resource. We just really want to do it on our own, Tim and I. I'm grateful for that. You guys were easy to work with, made it easy for me to not have to give you anything and everything and wait weeks for an answer. So I'm grateful for that.
I'm grateful for the chance to work with you in Goldbridge. That's what I'm grateful for.
Awesome.
And yeah, it was a pleasure speaking with you today.
Okay.
And Jerry, you can stop the recording.